Okay, so we've got car 12 back. The car's arrived from Tasmania on Wednesday and we've done a lot of work stripping the car down, looking for all the damaged parts. So thought we'd take you on that journey with us. You can see all the suspension arm here that are bent. A lot of damage to, the left rear was totally, everything was broken. Left front, fair bit of damage. Right rear, damage on there as well, where the axle's punched through the transaxle and done some damage to the opposite side that didn't make contact with anything really. So you can just have a look at some of these bars, which is exactly what they're designed to do. Take a bend and then break off. As you can see, that one used to belong here. So, and the idea of that is so it doesn't damage the chassis too much. Shock absorbers, same story. This one won't be getting much use anytime soon. We have to send these back to Super Shock. They're sealed by supercars, so we're not allowed inside these. We used to repair them ourselves, but we're not allowed to do that anymore. So both the left and right rear will be going back. This is the axle out of the car. You can see it's got some damage on it where it's hit, especially here on the spline. You can see where it's been damaged, so won't be using that. Front upright, it's taken a bit of a hit, broken a stud off in there. Oblong the hole a little bit, so that'll go and get hopefully refurbished. So this is the start of the damage. So what we'll do now is we'll go into sub-assembly so I can take you through some of the transaxle stuff. So this is our sub-assembly department, and this is a transaxle out of Jackson's car. As you can see, it's all in a million pieces. It's quite interesting to see what's damaged here. You can see the technical term for this is not quite right, but this is what we call a cotton reel. So this sits in the transaxle down in the center there, and it's actually the sacrificial part. So when it has a hit, it bends these bits. So trying to save some of the more expensive parts. This tripod, which is all wrapped up and there's a note on it to say it's not any good, it sits in here and then the axle sits in that. And as you look down there, you can see the damage around the edge here, and also you can see some damage in here. So we've got to crack test this to see if it's okay, and then we'll clean it up a little bit, and if it's okay, put it back in, and if it's not, we won't. You can see this is what it's meant to look like, not with those flatted edges across it. If you have a look at the housing for this transaxle, what's interesting is this is one that we'd had explode at Perth, a lot of damage done to it, and you can see on the inside, even though it's damaged, we've sort of cleaned it up a little bit, and we still use it. So this one's been in the wars a little bit. Hopefully we can still resurrect all the important parts of it, and we'll get it back together and have it as a spare for Sandown. So we've got a bit of panel damage here to have a look at. We've got the rear quarter, which took quite a lick. Front under tray, these things damage really easily. You can see this one's been repaired before, but we're gonna have to send this down to Darcy to get him to have a look at it and patch this one back up again. I think that's quite repairable. We've got a wheel tub here where it's taken a hit at the back. These are about 1,100 bucks to give you a bit of an idea on cost. So I'm sure the boys will be able to, Darcy will be able to sort that out for us. So we'll get that done. And let's go down and have a look in manufacturing at the rear clip. So finally, this is the rear clip out of car 12. Now, you can't really see it, but when I put this straight edge on, I can see daylight under there. So this rear clip is quite tweaked. So what the boys will do is, when this one's due for repair, which we don't really have time for now, they'll cut these off, put it in the jig, mount it up through the transaxle mounts and the top mounts, and then they'll weld them back on so the whole thing is square and straight again. So this one will just be put to one side for the moment. We've got to put a lot of these gussets in the, you can see I've got one here. This is how it's going to work. So we fold these up. We've got a drawing from Supercars, and then that will sit there, and then the boys will weld that all up, and then they'll do, I think there's 8 gussets on each transaxle. You can see underneath here we've got plenty of work to do for the guys. They're going to be flat out with our ESAB welder getting all that done, and then once we get them all repaired, we're going to be right for the Enduros. So we have a test coming up on the 3rd of September at Winton. So we'll have all this fixed. We'll have car 12.6. I'll give you an update next week on how we're going with it all, but a lot of work to do here at BJR.